Drills Talk, episode 25. So happy to get to episode 25. Thanks for everybody who's been riding with me since. Um, this episode, we're going to discuss the top 5 ways to get over hip hop's generational gap. It's titled Don't Mix the Bullsh with the Barary. And what is Barary? Barary is perfection. Barary is excellent lyricism on top of a beautiful beat. And if you need an example, you might want to check out Born of God by Drills. Let's get to it.
Born a god, life flipped it on me, wasn't born on top, so I shifted, you see, I was born to spark, knew the switch wasn't me, never on the star, so I got out of neutral and kicked it to D, don't know quit living me, I'm equipped.
Drills Talk, episode 25. In this episode, we're going to discuss the top 5 ways to get over hip hop's generational gap. This is based off of a blog I wrote entitled Hip Hop's Generational Gap, What is the Issue? I don't really think there's an issue, but we're going to get into why I think most people think there is an issue. Before we do, though, please like, please subscribe. Every Monday, new blog. Every Wednesday, new vlog. Every Friday, a new beat produced by Drills, aka me. We're going to get right into this number one. Number one is to acknowledge it. Acknowledge the gap. And there are multiple gaps. You know, hip hop has grown now. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, 50 and overs, the 30 to 45-ish, 50-ish, and then I guess the 25 and down, right? So those are pretty much the 3 generations in hip hop right now. And, you know, of course, in 5-10 years, the people who are in their 20s and in their 30s and wouldn't want to listen to whatever the new kids or younger kids are doing. So what we're going to do is we're going to acknowledge those gaps, right? They are there. Music is different, but we need to understand that different is good. I understand that a lot of people like, you know, old school hip hop and the boom bap, and this is how it's supposed to sound, and they're not doing it right, and all this other stuff. I get that, but understand that when hip hop started, they weren't doing it right. You know, like whatever was going on is like, okay, well, they're not singing, you know, it's not disco, you know, that I don't know what that is. I don't like that. What is that? Oh, that's hip hop. They're just being them. They're expressing themselves over a beat. And that's what the essence is of hip hop. There's always going to be people who are better, you know, than others. That's just, it's cream of the crops. They always exist, right? It's not going to just be one mushy, oh, anybody can do it. And if you believe that, you are lying to yourself. No, nobody, you know, anybody can't do this. It's not easy. It may sound easy because of what they're playing on the radio, and you might, oh, I can do that. And it's probably true. But if you're talking about Barary, and I explained what that was a little earlier, if you're talking about excellence, if you're talking about precision, if you're talking about lyricism and great beats, that never gets old. Never. So what I say is acknowledge the gaps, but absolutely don't mix that, you know, trash and good stuff and be like, oh, it's all hip hop, it's all good. No, I mean, bad music is bad music. There was bad music back then, and you know, there's bad music now. There's great music back then, and there's great music now. It's out there. It's just about looking for it, and it may be a little hard to get, you know, over all the crappy music you don't like, to find this 1 or 2 or 3 artists that, hey, you know, that I can listen to them. They're pretty good. It's not easy to do it by yourself and, you know, just have this big look at me, you know, when these huge companies are, you know, throwing millions of dollars on music that's probably not that good, but because they spent so much money on it, they spent so much, you know, ad dollars, that's what's being played because that's where the money is coming from. You have to do the digging and find the good artists. And, you know, if you really like hip hop, you should check out some of my stuff. Just saying. Just saying. Number two is to remember the foundation. So you think foundation of hip hop, what is that? Foundation of hip hop is you can't tell me nothing. You're not going to stop me from doing anything I'm doing. I'm going to do it because I said I was going to do it. I'm great, and I know I'm great. and you're not gonna stop it. That's the foundation of hip hop, right? You can't tell me nothing. I'm great. I know I grew up poor. I won't stay poor. That's the essence of it. No matter what generation you are in hip hop, you can go back to the '80s, and there were flashy people out there and telling you they got all this and they got all that, and maybe they didn't at the time, but eventually they got it because they believed it. They believed that they were the best, and they convinced you. And now to this day, there's people 50, 55 years old that would say, hey man, Rakim's the best rapper ever. Oh, Big Daddy Kane is the best rapper ever. He's the best performing rapper ever. And they would tell you that forever. But the first people to tell them that was Rakim and Big Daddy Kane. They told them that. They believed it first. So that's a little difference in hip hop than in other genres, to where there's people coming out and they're like, hey, I'm this new artist. And then once they see a little bit rolling and they get a little, fame, then they get cocky and it's like, hey, I'm one of the best out here. You should really listen to my music. No, we come in like that. We come in cocky because nobody believes in us. And we got to do the convincing. That's just how it is. And that's the foundation of hip hop. So understand that, yeah, you may not like what this kid in your eyes is saying, or you don't like how they're saying it, or you don't like how they look when they say it. Whatever it is, understand that the foundation is the same. This is hip hop. This is what you love. This is what they love. This is what you grew up with, and this is what they're growing up with, and this was taking them out of the situations that they may be in, and you don't know how bad that situation is. So you definitely don't want to take the lifestyle, the way of life, hip hop, away from them because you don't approve of how they look or how they sound or how they express themselves. Because take yourself back to in your late teens and in your 20s or early 30s, and how you expressed yourself, how you dressed, how you said things. How many people your age now accepted that? Not a lot. All right. So understand that they're going through exactly what you went through. They will one day grow up, still hip hop, of course, but understand that, okay, well, yeah, maybe that's not the way to do it, but that's how I did it then. That was authentic then. That's who I was. And you got to understand that. You got to respect that because they're you. They're just younger. They're a little different, but it's still hip hop. So let's respect that. Number three is to be open to difference. I know it's hard. To be growing up and saying, okay, well, Biggie or Tupac, or growing up and saying Rakim or Big Daddy Kane, or growing up and saying, Eminem. Well, it really wasn't no competition really there, but Eminem, or if you refuse to like Eminem, then you had, your Nellies, and then you got your, Jay-Z's, and, Jay-Z and Nas was a big thing from where I grew up. But as far as popular artists, it's real popular, selling millions and millions of records. You had Eminem and you had Nelly outside of New York that was just like killing it, selling a lot of records. Then you had Outkast, and they were selling a lot of records at one point, and it was just a lot of difference though. Like, other than hip hop, what do those guys have in common? Nelly was nothing like Eminem. Eminem wasn't anything like Outkast. Nothing like Jay-Z, right? Jay-Z and Nas grew up in the same city, right? Two different boroughs though, and they're not the same guy. They're a little older now, so they're a little more similar. But back then, no, like there was no comparison of those guys. It's like, okay, they're both young men. They're both very good at what they do, but that was where the comparison stopped. Like, difference is great. Difference is a good thing. How irritating is it to listen to the radio and not realize the song changed? You've been there. That's not what you want. You want to know the song changed. You want to hear somebody's perspective in their life, or how they see the world, and know that the song changed and know that it's different. You don't want to hear monotony. So be okay with change. The biggest change is your generation to this new generation. That's huge, right? Take a listen. It's not all garbage. I know you dismiss it. I hear the talk. It's not all garbage. There's people who really take their craft seriously. There's people who really try and really, bust their tails in the studio to make good music. And you have to give it a shot. I mean, you don't have to give it a shot, but you'll be missing out by not giving it a shot and missing out on more hip hop. Like the people who you love and you see as up here, they're not making new music. So you do kind of create the monotony yourself by not being open to difference. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's good. It's good music, yeah, but I mean, they made 4 albums. You listen to the same 4 albums. You listen to the same 5 albums over and over and over. There's new music out there. You can always go back to that. That's good music, but I mean, you're creating monotony yourself. You don't like listening to the radio, but you will listen to, the same 3 albums that you've been listening to since you were in your teenage years. And I mean, what's the difference there? Why is that okay? Embrace difference. Number 4. Number 4 is to be comfortable calling out garbage. Now, people stray away, kind of dodge away from the term hater, and they don't want to be called a hater, and no one wants to be called a hater. But pointing out something that is trash or something that is, not a good look for an industry you love, which is, hip hop music, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to tolerate that. You don't have to be okay with that. You don't have to say, okay, well, that's what they're doing now. No, bad music is bad music. I'm not telling you to accept bad music. I'm telling you to keep an open ear for good, different music, different than what you're used to listening to. I'm not saying be okay with the monotony that's on the radio, or be okay with somebody repeating the same thing they said, in the beginning of the song, in the middle of the song, and at the end of the song, and then filling in with terrible, ad libs and throw a lot of bass in it, and then boom, it's on the radio. You don't have to accept that. That's bullish. And when I say bullish, it's because I keep the channel clean, So that's another good perk. Follow us if you haven't followed us. It's a clean channel. I keep it clean. Even when I post my music, I take all the curse words out. So be okay with calling out what it is. If it's garbage, say it's garbage, and don't promote it. And don't feel good about it. But when you see somebody that's good, and you hear somebody that's good, give them their just due. Say something about them. Post them. Make it, hey, good music is out here. Listen to this kid, or listen to this young lady, or listen, this is good music. I was wrong. But now, because you put that out there, people are listening to you and saying, okay, well, yeah, man, they did say that this person was good. So they're saying this person is bad. It's probably some justification to that. And that's okay, because they're protecting the industry, that they love. They're protecting the genre that they love. And there's nothing wrong with that. So don't hide away from it. You're not a hater because you're pointing out something that's bad. I think we've confused the use of that, word a little in our I would say our lifestyle, in our industry in hip hop. It's like disagreeing is one thing. Pointing out something that is not up to par, that's not hating. We can say heavily critique, but there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, this is not good. This is not what hip hop's about. They didn't try in this song. There's no great wordplay in this song. This beat is trash. It's the same, tat 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 hi-hat in there, and it's too loud. The bass is like muddy. It's not good. Nothing wrong with that at all. And I'm not telling you to like bad stuff. And with that, I want to get into number 5. And number 5 is to not mix the Bullsh with the Barary. Don't mix the Bullsh with the Barary. Barary, excellence. Bull, garbage. Don't ever put them close together. It is not the same thing. No reason to do it. So what I say, don't mix the Bullsh with the Barary, is like, I don't want to see a great artist do a feature song or do a song or collab with a person who makes garbage music just for the sake of being out there. I don't want to hear that. I don't. And I know they do it. You know they do it. You've heard it on the radio, and you're like, well, why are they even in the same song? They shouldn't do that. Now, one thing that I can do is not do that, and that's what I don't do. Now, I can tell you right now where I am as an artist. No matter how high I go, I would never do that. So it's going to be some people, if I get where I feel I should be, they're never going to work with me. because I'm never going to work with people who don't make good music. That's just not something I'm interested in. I don't care if they have a totally different fan base and I'm trying to cross over to whatever it is, I can stay over there. Just to keep my music as pristine as possible. That's a decision that I'm going to make. And I hope that you make that too. And I hope that you keep that as like a, something in your head that you say, okay, well, yeah, this is something that I can listen to in a club. It's a party, it's loud, whatever, we're having a good time, but I'm definitely not going to put this artist in the same breath as that artist, because that artist is excellent. This artist works hard. They are great lyricists. They make great music. It sonically sounds good. It's not irritating to the ear. It's not repetitive and sounding stupid. Don't mix those two. And that's what I mean by don't mix them. And it's something that I really say, to DJs when I'm running up on DJs. And I'm like, hey, man, don't play this excellent song and then throw on some garbage afterwards. It will kill the crowd. And they laugh, Chuck was like, yo, they're going to play what's hot. They're going to play what they've been paid to play sometimes. And that's cool. But I'm just saying, when I get to that level, don't play my joint right after you play some trash, because nobody's going to ever want to hear that song again. Don't play my song and then play trash right after that, because it's just not a good mix. And I don't even want my song to be attached to that song. It needs to be more than a second or two apart. That's all I'm saying. That's how I feel. What? Drills Talk, episode 25. This episode was to explain the generational gap in hip hop and maybe a little bit of venting from me. But definitely, if you want to find out what Barary is, not being cocky, I'm just letting you know, you should check out Born of God by Drills. I have 2 albums out there. One is called Never Fallen. Another one is Winter is Spit Mean. It's a total of 8 songs out there by yours truly. Check it out. Let me know what you think. I appreciate the listen. I appreciate the stream. I appreciate you watching this. Thanks for listening. It's Drills.com. Drills Talk, episode 25. Check this out. It's Drills.